So welcome to this video. Thanks for tuning in and sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back if you have. My intention is unity and oneness and the highest levels of love light. I'm just going to go into a little energy update, a little flow. Obviously I'm in my car, I won't be looking at the camera quite as much. I get a lot of activations and downloads when I drive. If you guys have seen my videos before, I want to share a little bit from my own personal journey, and then I'm just going to go into flow. Actually, I'm just being guided to just go in flow. So let's do it. Little light language. I'm gonna stop light right now. Gaya usta te ki namukuana yahu kuana te tish te kinia mahana te aukuna nehene Niki ki nawaha yashta makunene ahana te diawahat te ki yanunu awahanak et ewa. It's a long stoplight. Yakustat ek ur at light language mashup. Der at ek anhet ek uk ur et ok ur. Der har ak ur te ak ur estanarahak ur. Kiara arukur anananehe raneneniama nenenianiki kiniama kuneya otetiane okuate ishte kine kikina mahakunu kanaheti yawa kuneneniahane kiniamo oteti amaku anate nahana. And we express to you in a myriad of languages. For as these linguistics roll off the roof of the mouth, so to speak, roll off the tongue, roll out. We allow for a neutral perspective in some cases. For these different languages allow a certain neutrality to wash through the body, allow us to cleanse that which we may feel are out of balance. They allow us to work through certain imbalances, so to speak. They allow us to feel within and into our field, our higher expression, our knowingness that we are expressing. Certain realities are overlaid and interlaced and wrapped around each other. As we allow ourselves to wrap our brains around, wrap our nouns around, wrap our brains around the now, we allow ourselves to transmit certain nouns, to transmute certain nows. So I'm seeing a lot of different things here, but to play with the words, it's like when we play with our language and our linguistics, it allows us to fold into a higher space of knowingness. It allows us to be quantumly eternal, quantumly entangled with our internal vocabulary. For many of us are hearing these words, yet we have ignored them, for they play in the back of our mind and we believe they are our imagination. We believe that these certain communications are nothing more than a mere piece of our environment. Yet we are here to reflect to you and to show to you that through you, you are the quantum entanglement. You are disentangling from yourself that is not quantifiable. So I had this flow a while ago, and I was guided to go back and revisit some of my previous messages. And one of the biggest messages was that which cannot be duplicated in a positive way, meaning it's an inversion, meaning it's not the true version. It's that which is harnessing and harassing other energies in order to, I'm hearing harassment, that's a big play on words. Assessment. It messes with our hara lines. It messes with how we are able to assess. It's a false assessment. It's false projections. It's false realities. And they are not co-creative. In fact, they are destructive. And that means we cannot quantify it. I mean, we can, but it's finite. So many of the words that we use, I'm hearing, are shut down, are higher quantifications. They are limiting, and there are limitations to the words and dialect into which we are able to then dial up into. So the more we allow ourselves to recognize that our language barriers are truly that, barriers, they're perceived barriers, we then open up to the, I'm hearing a higher trajectory, trifecta, apothecary. There's lots of plays here. But we open up to these higher spaces, and we stop assuming, being an ass, stubborn, being a donkey. That's what I'm hearing. It allows us to go deeper, to ask. I'm hearing, ask not what, I'm seeing, I just went quantum, so sorry. Not that I wasn't already in that field, because that's what quantum vocabulary is. It's not necessarily point A to point B. It can sometimes feel like it's all over the place. But anyways, I'm back. Let me get back on track. It gives us more space. It gives us a bigger frame to play into. It gives us the ability to feel into deeper meanings behind the words, and which then lead to deeper relevations and revelations. And I'm hearing like a higher releve, like a dance move. It helps us to dance into the spiral and go higher, and not be so limited in our, I'm just hearing that more and more people are speaking these languages and tones, and we're really being invited to get out of the entrapments of the mind and the ensnarements and the entanglements that we've been, I'm hearing, snazzled. So we've been dazzled because words are energy and they cast spells, bedazzled. But I'm hearing like schnazzled. Like when you get trapped into something, ensnared, and it's all tangled up. And I'm seeing, I'm hearing, what's that, Rapunzel, let your hair down? Is that entangled? It's like the golden weave, the braid, right? Let's not get so caught up in our own entanglements and entrapments that we hear somebody speak a language and we automatically assume that it's fake, or that it's not real because we don't know it is, or it's time to move out of this limiting vocabulary. And when I say limiting vocabulary, it's a way of thinking. It's a mentality. It's the mental game versus the feeling game. It's like, allow ourselves to feel into the field means that we are opening to all things, because all things are us. So when we say something like, oh, well, that person's ridiculous because they're speaking in a different language that I don't understand, that is a limiting statement. And that is it's a judgment being cast. And I'm hearing cast this away, cast away. So the premise of this is just to let it go. Start to allow the tones to flow through. And this isn't necessarily language, although it is, if you hear somebody that's speaking a different language, start to feel the feeling behind the words. I heard somebody speaking Russian the other day, and I was just like, wow. It was just amazing to me. It's beautiful. I think all languages are beautiful in their own way, but it represents communication. So if we're unable to recognize that other people have their own language or their own way of communication, how can we start to be open as a collective? As a collective experience, so that we can begin to understand each other on a cellular level, deepen our experience is what I'm hearing. Because life is not limited to my experience, and it's not limited to your experience. That is awesome. I just saw a gremlin. It's like a car, I think it's a gremlin. Don't be a gremlin. Right? Allow ourselves to recognize that this great divide that we are all experiencing, where do we end it? It's like, I can be in union with you because of this, but as soon as you start doing that, we're not alike anymore. That's limiting. That's not expansive. So anyways, I'm just going to end on that note. That was just a short little message. This is also what I'm being guided to share. I always say I'm going to end on that note, and then I go longer. Part of this is not limiting our own beliefs about ourselves. Like, what are we telling ourselves and communicating with ourselves that we're not listening to? We hear it in the back of our mind. It's the sound behind the sound. It isn't the ego telling us we don't deserve this or that. Recognize that voice, but hear what's really going on behind. You don't deserve this, or you're not good enough, or that's weird. That's weird. It doesn't fit in. That does not compute, so therefore I refuse to look at that. What's the message behind that? Is it the fact that I'm afraid of being different? I'm afraid of being judged. I'm in fear. I'm afraid of not being accepted. I don't want to do what I really feel happy doing because I feel like it isn't worthwhile. What is worth? What is our value? What is our worth? I could go on and on. So where are we communicating with ourselves? I don't have time to exercise. That means we are not placing values in our body. Our body is part of this embodiment. We have this path that we are on, and this creates a disconnect sometimes for those of us who aren't moving, where we are unable to really dip into the body to see what it needs. I could go on and on. It's language. What is the linguistics of our body telling us, right? We're being invited to understand language in a completely different way. So in love and light, guys, have fun communicating, have fun playing, and namaste.